Back with more of Kaleidoscope. Veteran broadcast engineer Ed Miller and physicist Bob Leskovec were members of the St. Joseph High School Radio Club in the 1950s. And as students, they tracked the first Sputnik satellite, the Russian satellite, on October the 4th, 1957, when the Russians surprised the world with satellite technology. Both men are currently retired and are working with schools to bring back the type of out-of-class activities they had access to in the 1950s. Good to have you both with us.
Thank you, Leon.
Ed Miller, this studio looks very familiar to you, being a retired engineering manager here.
That's correct. I was here 27 years.
Well, good to have you both with us. And Bob Leskovec, retired physicist from Case Western Reserve University. Tell me about this radio club at St. Joseph's High School when you both were students.
We were a group of about 12 people. We were amateur radio licensed individuals, and we were in a position, we were trying to make contact with a fellow amateur radio operator, and we came across these unusual beeping sounds. Yeah. And we said, that's kind of strange, so we flipped on some tape recorders and continued to monitor that, and about 4 or 5 hours later, we heard announced on the media that the Russians had launched a satellite, and we had already captured the signal and had been tracking it. And shortly thereafter, the FBI came and said, we would like to borrow those tapes if you can afford to give those tapes up. And so they took all 20,000 feet of tape that we had recorded and for it to be analyzed. And
this is film we're looking at. This is you two guys. Bob, tell me what we're looking at right here.
Well, that's Fred M. Aiming the antenna. That's an antenna rotor there. There's the antenna rotating. It just is showing you how the equipment kind of works. Back out of that, and Fred's cueing me, and I'm tuning in the signal on a different frequency because Sputnik transmitted on 2 different frequencies.
This is you guys from high school guys.
That's right. Yeah, this is all our equipment, and he's cueing Joe Marcy over there, and that's a tape machine we had.
There's the actual beeping sound.
Yeah, that's a beeping sound. Sputnik went beep, beep,
right,
beep.
And there it is on the oscilloscope. The beeps coming by.
Now, Bob, you beat the U.S. government by tracking this thing.
Well, the FBI told us that when they came to pick up the tapes, they let us know that we beat the government by the Navy by 4 hours. 4 hours. And the reason that happened was because this was an international geophysical year, and we had all agreed with the Russians that all satellites would transmit on 108 megahertz, which is just above what we now know as the FM band. And all the U.S. government equipment and the antennas, everything was set up for that. Then the Russians pulled a fast one on us and went and transmitted on 40 megahertz and 20 megahertz. Everybody in Europe tend to have shortwave receivers back then, even. Well,
so you were able to pull in these signals and make recordings.
Because they were very close to our regular ham radio frequencies.
And you're just high school guys. No wonder the FBI was knocking on your doors.
Probably.
We were doing about 2,000 feet of tape a day, and so after about 8 days, they had heard about us all over the news.
And this is the first man-made satellite in space. The Russians did it in 1957.
This is the first one
That's why beat the United States.
Yeah.
You guys have stayed together now. Yes. Tell me about today. All these years later, you've stayed together.
I've been active in the National Society of Broadcast Engineers as their national president, and Bob, of course, has been a longtime member of that organization. And we together have realized the value of what we experienced as students. Why can't we rekindle that type of thinking and motivation in today's schools to get them involved in extracurricular activities that could amount to something? And so we have been very active, and we remain active, and we're involved with the youth membership on a national level.
Trying to get the kids in classes.
Well, Ed was a 2-time president of the national president of the Society of Broadcast Engineers along the way, and when he was in there, he started the youth program. Right. And we remembered how we got into broadcast engineering. A bunch of us from the high school radio club just successively went in. For example, here in Cleveland, we started working for WCLV, which was just starting up in 1962.
You guys are open to schools, even more schools getting involved in the sciences and the technology?
Go ahead, Tom.
There's a lot of schools now are finally coming back around. You know, when Sputnik went up, there was a big flurry of excitement in space and science, and then it all died out.
Yeah.
Now what's coming back around is the schools are getting into pre-engineering programs, and so we're going to some of the schools. And the other one is broadcast journalism. So we've got these two sort of opposite ends, but they do come together in engineering.
I want to mention your reunion. We've got about a minute remaining. Want to mention your reunion. You want to get a plug in for that, don't you, Ed?
Well, the 29th of September, we have arranged for a reunion of the original hands-on core of people that actually touched the equipment, many of which you saw in that film. And we will be assembling at Dimitri's restaurant in Parma the 29th of this month.
Okay, and you've made contact with everybody?
Yes, we have.
Well, that's the people we found now. But we know
if there's
that
somebody else out there,
this is a different type of reunion from 1951 to 1975. You know, a lot of these people don't even know each other.
Right.
This radio club existed, and we're looking for all those people in the long run, and we're hoping to get them, locate them, and get them for a big reunion in 2008.
So if they call this number that we've got on the screen, they can make contact with you guys.
Right, and or our website, if they can come in through our website, and they can find information there about how to contact us.
216-692-3068, 216-692-3068. You can find more information. Good to have you back in the studio, my friend.
Sir, you're doing well.
Oh, we're hanging it. I'm still here, tracking signals.
Thank you very much,
Good
Leon.
to see you too, Bob. Good luck to both of you, and thank you for what you did
Thank you
so
very
many
much.
years ago and for what you continue to do.
Okay.
Log on to newsnet5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Up next, Love Letters, a local production in which I have a role. I'll be right back.